This is the 2024 Toyota Tacoma SR5 Kodiak Edition. This Tacoma is unlike any other, as the Kodiak Editions are only ever available right here in Roanoke at Haley. With a locally outfitted lift kit that features custom wheels, tires, suspension system, rocker bars, and graphics, this Kodiak has a unique look that will turn heads and still comes equipped with all of the qualities you've come to know and love in a Tacoma pickup. These Kodiaks are more rare than factory model Tacomas, but you can find out more on how to get your hands on one of these bruising bad boy Kodiaks by contacting Haley Toyota. Today, we're taking Tyler Roy for a ride. The 6'2" goaltender is in his second full pro season and has gone 6-3-2 in his 13 career appearances for the Dawgs.
Tyler, what's up, man? How's it going?
Not much. What's up with you, Mitch?
Doing all right. Well,
I'm Mitch Stewart, and this is Driving with the Dawgs.
come in. You ready to do a little drive with the dogs here?
I am.
Good deal. We got this fancy Kodiak Tacoma right here. The only place you can get this thing is in Roanoke at this Haley dealership. So what are we thinking? Fancy enough for you?
It's nice.
Good.
It's a nice car.
What was that process like as far as when Roanoke first got in touch with you or you first got in touch with Dan Bremner? How did that kind of come to be there when you played those couple games with Roanoke back in 2023?
Well, our season had just ended. I knew I wanted to try and play professionally. I had a little bit of a rough end to my senior year, so I didn't know how realistic that would be. I knew I wanted to try to be in the SPHL if I could, and I had an agent there. Like, they had somebody that was helping a bunch of the guys from Manhattanville, and he said, I'll do what I can, and he reached out to Dan, and I guess Brody took that call up, and when he did, Dan needed a guy really quickly, and I was just the most available guy. I probably wasn't the most qualified guy, but I was the most available guy and could be there for the Huntsville trip. Huntsville trip was exciting, got to go and be a part of it. It's a really cool place to have your first experience. It's a nice city and a nice rink there, and then obviously got my first game action in Knoxville the next weekend.
You get your first full pro season last year, and I feel like you had maybe one of the more unique experiences as a rookie as far as just you were very well traveled last year. You got to a bunch of different spots, a bunch of locker rooms, but it ends up being a home that you find for yourself here the second half of the year, really, with the Rail Yard Dogs.
Yeah.
What was that experience just like for you throughout the years? You're trying to carve out a role with the team. You're in the SPHL, you're in the FPHL. What was that year like for you, just as you were kind of trying to find your footing here as a pro?
Yeah, it was definitely interesting for sure. Obviously, again, like I said, didn't have the best end of my senior year, so I think the only team really that I was on a radar of was Roanoke. I know I talked to Dan at the end of the year, or when he let me go, I guess, and said that he was happy with what I did and he would have me back for camp. So that was, I guess, the only option I really had, and I was excited to be back. I knew this is a spot I was going to be, but I knew coming to camp was going to be uphill for me, coming with Brody and Rhodey, and then winning the year I was up, but didn't finish there. And then they ended up helping me get a spot in Columbus. So then I went down to Columbus. I was there a couple weeks. Bush got hurt. I was up here for a couple weeks. Went back to Columbus. I think then that's when I had the one game that I backed up in Macon, and then back to Columbus, and then back up to Fayetteville. And then I went to Fayetteville to Reading for a week, and then Reading back to Fayetteville. And that was about after Christmas. And then Fayetteville let me go. I went back to Columbus for another 2 weeks, and then back to Roanoke, and then we were good. But I think that was my first half. That was all by about January. January, I think I got the end of January is when I was done. I was up in Roanoke and stayed the rest of the year. So that was good. That was where I wanted to be the whole time. Took the long way to get there, but we got there. That was where I wanted to be from camp. So it was cool. It was a really cool experience to finish here.
Being in all those different locker rooms, all those different personalities, what was kind of your MO as you maybe tried to soak up and try to gain more knowledge just getting into your career?
Well, my MO as a rookie was just trying to fit in. I was the new guy everywhere I was, the newest guy on every team I was on. So, I mean, even Columbus, I showed up in camp. I was the newest guy there for a while. And I think just trying to be the chameleon a little bit, not, stray away from who I am, but trying to fit into the room and help where I can, just staying out after, picking up the pucks, whatever I could, just to just try to stick. It's tough to stick, that was what I learned in the first half of the year, that it's hard to stick somewhere.
Want to hear a little bit more about what kind of led you to Newman, what maybe was the decision for you to go to Manhattanville, and what was it like playing at each of those schools when you were back in college still?
Well, I guess Newman, I only had 2 offers. coming out of junior. So it was Newman or Bethel University in Minnesota, and then Newman seemed to be the most interested in me, so I ended up going there. And then and then obviously after my sophomore year in COVID, it had become pretty clear that I wasn't going to play. The coach had made that pretty clear to me coming into the next season. That would have been my junior year, so I wanted to get a change of scenery. And I had a good friend of mine from Michigan that was on Manhattanville, talked to the coach, and then obviously I got an opportunity there. Got a little bit fortunate with the goalie situation there when I first got there my junior year, and then my senior year I ended up splitting and I guess backing up by the end one of the younger goalies, but had a good time in both spots. I liked both spots off the ice, especially. New York City was very cool, and then Newman was small suburb outside of Philadelphia, so it wasn't too much of a big city there because we were pretty far from Philly, but it was small town feel, and I liked it.
I found that you had studied 2 different majors. Apparently there's a third. So
Yeah.
we've got, communications, business, and sports management?
Well, business management and sports studies.
And
but yeah.
sports studies. So I want to know, eventually, I think you got a lot of playing career left in you, a lot of time still left out on the ice, but when you do end up putting the mask away, putting the pads away, and, getting a different career after your playing career is over, what does that dream kind of job look like for Tyler Roy? What is it that you want to do maybe after your playing days are completed?
I mean, I'm pretty set up, I think, with my majors to go anything into sports, which is what I kind of want to do. I would like to be either in coaching or just like team management, but we'll see where it goes. I'm pretty well versed in a lot of things. We'll see once I get into that field, like where I end up sticking, but I think just anything around sports teams, I think would be what I'd want to do. Growing up, I wanted to be a broadcaster. I want to be like Mitch, but I don't know if that's still in the cards. We'll see.
Hey, you know what? If I like it better for you when you're down on the ice. I'm sure you like that better, but if it ever ends up becoming an option, I'd love to have you up there. I need all the help I can get sometimes.
Yeah, you got to watch out for your spot once I get up there.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't think a switcheroo is going to happen. I don't think I can go down there and do what you do, but I'd be more than happy to give you a whirl, see what you can do on the headset.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
If you could pick one guy to run for public office, who is your pick and why?
Probably Valerian, because I think he'd get the economy going. He's definitely a numbers guy, and he'd form a lot of alliances. You've seen that in the Catan. So I think he would. I think he'd do a good job being a diplomat.
CJ Valerian, I think that's a good pick. Val's a very sharp guy, and I think he'd be able to get the job done. CJ Valerian, 2024, folks. There, you heard it here first. Can you give us a little bit more insight as far as to kind of where you specifically grew up? What was it like for you growing up there, and how'd you get your start into the sport growing up?
Well, specifically, I live in Brighton, Michigan, which is like 40 minutes west of Detroit. Just a small town. And then, I got my start in the sport at a very young age. My dad played goalie in hockey growing up, still plays to this day, still going. And, just put the pads on, basically potty trained with hockey equipment. And, I was terrible at every other sport as well. My mom tried to get me to play some other sports, and then she decided that I was terrible at them all. And we just decided to play goalie, and that's just been what we've been doing. So I guess it's turned out pretty well, and we're still working towards it, but yeah.
Is there anything I didn't get to, or just anything that you want to say maybe for the fans that are tuning into this today?
No, just that we appreciate the support. We definitely have the best fans in the league. I've toured quite a few teams, and I love this place. It's very passionate fans. They show out every home game, and we just try to put out the best product every night that we can for them because we know how much they care. So definitely other than that, just happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Mitch, and go Dawgs.
Hey, well, thanks for your time, Tyler. Awesome catching up with you here, and keep it up. Good luck
For sure.
for the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Driving with the Dawgs is sponsored by Haley Toyota, the official ride of your rail yard dogs. Visit Haley Toyota online at HaleyHasItForLess.com and stay tuned for more episodes coming soon.